Hello again. We're back for a sixth line day in this 16th gate. So the gate of skills and the sixth line is called Gullibility. Ra said that this was one of the most talented lines in all of the creative channels, despite its name. And it's one of those words that we could have a little bit of prejudice about. The definition of gullibility is the quality of believing in things too quickly, the right way around. And you could add that these are people who are easily deceived or tricked. But really, the quality that you're getting from this is that they just keep on believing. The sixth line, it sits on the roof of the hexagram, and they like to apply their skills, but really they've got no energy for it. And in their early years, maybe they met with a lot of broken promises, a lot of people offering to help them, never went anywhere. The lifetime learning here is the susceptibility to propaganda. And the propaganda is about, I'm going to take your skills and I'm going to make you a star. Oh, and send me your book and I'll publish it and you'll be famous. This is the propaganda that the lifetime learning is all about. And this is where the gullibility comes in, because you believe that that person's going to help you. And even when you get knocked down, you believe the next person is going to help you. So this is the lifetime learning. And the exaltation says the ability to experience, examine, and then reject misleading enthusiasm. The talent to assess the expression of others. This is kind of about learning about discernment, I guess. All 16s project a gate. They have a deep need to be recognized for their skills. They want to be told that their skills are wonderful, and they want other people to provide them with an outlet for their skills. They need the energy from other people. All 16s seek that. It's what the logic circuit in itself demands. So there's discernment needed here, the ability to assess whose enthusiasm is worthwhile. In the detriment, we have the same principle, but where the exaltation will destroy and then seek new forms, the detriment will painfully withdraw its enthusiasm for social structures permanently prejudiced. The failure to assess the expression of others. So these are the two sides of the same coin. You know, in the 16-6 exaltation, we have the talent to assess the expression of others, and in the detriment, we have the failure to assess the expression of others. When it comes to being able to establish what collective enterprise really can work creatively, what experiments really can be done, and who the forces are that are necessary to fulfill that, well, this is a talent that our sixth lines can have. You know, this can be one of their greatest gifts because they're up there and they're seeing the whole picture. A sixth line child can be very gullible and they can believe anything. And actually that can be painful because people can take advantage of that and make fun of them. And you know, it can be really difficult. But by the time they get into their 30s, they're the greatest bullshit readers in the world. They're fantastic. They can see who's spinning them a yarn. They can see what's real and what's possible, what's fake. And that's what makes this such an important creative line, because the creative process really needs the ability to assess in this way, because within the collective process and within collective art, everyone must have the ability to fulfill their potential. And the 16 line 6 can read that. So gullibility, how is that grounded? Well, when we find in the 9th gate, we have gratitude. So is there a gratitude to be found in gullibility? I think maybe there can be a joy which comes with accepting rewards for victories and the genius that is possible in the understanding process. And we have just heard that gullibility is actually a gift. It's part of our human experience. Oh, and we may as well be grateful for it as rail against it and, you know, say how awful it is to have this line of gullibility. And actually, okay, well, what's the gift in this line of gullibility? And gratitude has such a powerful energy about it. It can turn so many things around. So if the firm ground that gullibility walks on is gratitude, well, I'm not going to dig into this one too much further. I'll let that one lie for today. The moon is still in gate 22, the gate in the solar plexus of grace or disgrace. And at 1601, it moves into gate 36. This is the gate of crisis, another solar plexus gate. This is the rule of cycles in which decline is a natural but not enduring stage. So many of the things we find change. The only thing that endures is change. Nothing stays the same. Stagnation is death. We keep changing, we keep moving through these cycles, and the cycles are a big part of the experiential way. I talked about formats. I've talked about formats a little while ago. Anyway, with the channel, with gate 16, the format being the 952, that format energy of focus and concentration. The format channel for the experiential way, the circuit, sensing circuit, the abstract circuit, it's in there. It's just coming out. Is that format channel is the channel of cycles, the channel of maturation. And so that is what conditions, if you like, or it programs the whole of that circuit. So we find that in gate 36. Yes, there's crisis, but crisis is part of a cycle. And we never stay in crisis all the time. Always there's a point where it moves through. But this is something to be considered. It's a very vulnerable gate in many ways. It's quite, it doesn't trust the experiences it's had to give it any real depth. And it's the mirror to the gate of depth, which is in the 48 on the other side. So it really doesn't trust itself. So it fears that it feels inadequate at times, and it can go through some very intense experiences to try and prove that it's not inadequate. So do you feel any of that energy today? See, maybe it's just getting into a crisis and noticing that you're coming out the other side, or that you've just come out of one, or just see what you tap into, if there is anything to tap into. Sometimes we're in a lull between crisis, and we've been in Neptune with crisis for so long. We're not there right now, but we have been for so long that we haven't seen the crisis that we've been in. So maybe we're still coming to recognize what crisis means for us, because it doesn't necessarily mean a volcano or an earthquake or some massive disaster. There can be lots of little crises in a day. I forgot to put the bins out. We've now got a smelly bin to put in the garage for the next week. So it's a tiny crisis. It's a small thing, but it's still something. It's still something that just sort of, it's an experience. It clicks in the, changes my equilibrium of the day. And then the moon moves into gate 25. And this is the gate of innocence at 1:30 tomorrow morning, the gate of spirit of the self. And Neptune is here at the moment. So some of these qualities are going to be, all of these qualities are going to be veiled from us. But we know what they are, and it's still good to hear about them, because one day Neptune will move out and we will have, again, these full qualities for us to explore. And it's the gate of universal love, where love is impersonal, and it's sometimes described as cold because people don't understand the unconditional quality of it. It's a love that flows towards all things, even inanimate things. And it's difficult because, generally speaking, humans want to feel special to certain people. Children want their mother to love them more than their mother loves any other children, or however that plays out in whatever the scenario is. And the person with 25 doesn't feel that. It's a gate that says everyone is special. I love everyone equally, no one more than any other. That's me for today. That's our weather. And thank you for watching, and go gently, and I will see you again tomorrow.